Greetings and salutations. We're one day behind. That's my fault. Welcome back to Fundamental Fridays. Just got a query from one of our miscreants. He said, "Oh man," he said, "I'm confused." He said, "What do I do?" I said, "Well, what's got you confused?" He said, guy reached out to me. He said that I shouldn't be sending anything more than 400 to lay down my base. That is completely and utterly incorrect. Okay? Now, he asked another question, so I'll go back and forth between the two of them. To have your setup on your bench, 220, 320, 400, 600, okay? Now, cut it up into 3/4 inch squares, okay? Wet dry paper, all right? And just walk its way up. Now, once you get to the 1500, then what you want to do, you want to jump to the 3200 and run that all the way up to the 12,000. Yeah, a lot of people tell me I'm full of it for saying that, but the end results, and just to prove that point, I did not paint this body. This was done by one of the miscreants, okay? It hasn't been polished out yet, all right? Now, you go to 400, okay, so it has bite to it. This is what this individual alluded to. You have to have something so that the paint can bite. No, because I'll tell you what, as soon as you shoot that on there and let it flash, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have a bunch of scratch marks and gouges and everything else. You got to walk it all the way up. That garbage that they feed to you about having, you got to have, no bite. You want this as smooth can be. The smoother that you lay down on your prep work, the smoother your paint finish is going to go on. And it's going to stay there. Okay? This stuff where you have to have it where it's got to have bite to it, no. I'm sorry. That's just not the way that it should be. Because no matter what you do, if you are only up to 400 and you lay this down as such, I mean, it's going to come back through. And even if you throw a ton of clear over top of it, it's still not going to hide it. You have to walk all the way up to 12. That's it. And the thing of it is take my word for it or not, there's plenty. Just cruise through. Go to the website. Go to Facebook, our page on Facebook. And that's not just my work. That's a lot of other guys that are into this with us. You gotta have a smooth surface. The paint will go on. Light, mist, rapid coats, lay it down until it's all smooth and uniform. Okay? And that way, if you have to, well, then you do a little bit of wet sanding with it. Okay? And then you polish it out. These are the reasons that we put these DVDs out in the first place, gang. Because this way, I'm not going to steer you wrong. First thing that, my daddy taught me where I understood the spoken word was you're given two things in this life. You're given your family with name and your word of honor. I'm not going to lie to you on either point. Never did, never will. But this has to stop. Because the thing of it is you put a dent in someone's joy, because when they get done with it and they look at it, if you follow this individual's, whatever you would call it, 400 isn't going to make it, kids. You need that to be smooth. Smooth as the proverbial baby's ass. And once you get it to that point, then when you wash it off, blow dry it off, and immediately start laying those coats down, it will lay down as smooth you could ever ask it to be. And when it flashes out, it's the same too. But these are the kind of things that there's a lot of good out there. There's a lot of bad out there too. And these are the things that I try to reach out and get out ahead of this kind of stuff. And it raises its proverbial head here and there. So, to answer the other gentleman's question that goes in parallel with this, like I said, 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch, okay? You can wet sand it, everything else like that. But you definitely have to start low and work your way up. Take your time. This isn't a rush. And if you do this, you're going to find yourself going along without any problems. Now, there was 3 individuals that asked right in the same line, actually within an hour or so of each other. And the young man asked me again, he said to me, he said, I'm really interested in the DVDs. He said, and I really, I want to know what it's about. What it's about is a step-by-step procedure. It's an hour and a half long for the airbrush. I'll teach you exactly, step by step, exactly how I do it and the steps that I take and what the end result is. Okay? That's the airbrush. All right? The second one is the tips and the tricks. That's what, Jake? 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours of how-tos. Just to make it easier for you. To avoid the pitfalls. And not last, but of course not least, you've got the ultimate finish. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to make this look like a mural. Okay? And you don't stint and you don't cut it short or anything else like that. As long as you follow those rules that I lay out and you do exactly like I indicate, you're going to have pieces of glass. Now this one, it needs a little bit of wet sanding and it needs a little bit of polishing, and he's done. Now, as for what's going on with me, I just had my last treatment today. Things are looking good, and I appreciate y'all reaching out to me, giving me the holler and everything else like that. God bless y'all for that. But I just had to touch on this. This is something that has to be done away with. And I'm more than happy to answer the questions. I hate when someone, guys, girls, whatever, guides people in the wrong direction. It frustrates people. It pushes people away from the hobby, and we don't need that. We don't need that at all. We've got literally hundreds of people coming back into this hobby every single day. The least that we could do is provide them with the proper instruction when they ask the questions. So, until the next time, this is the old man and Jake from Lone Wolf Custom Painting. God bless. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Friday. We're out.